This is the Peter Greenwood Show, still here at the Assembly Roxy, not the Assembly Rooms. If anybody says differently, they're lying. I have two ladies to my right. Could you tell me your names and what you do, please?
Yeah, my name's Hannah. I'm a cast member of Screen 9 here at the Edinburgh Fringe.
And I'm Kate. I'm the writer and director of Screen 9, also in this gorgeous, very wet city.
How are you today? You well?
Yeah, good. It's humid. It's damp.
It's summer in Scotland. That's about what you can expect.
Yeah.
So what is your show? Tell me a little bit about it and its origin story.
Yeah, of course. So it's called Screen 9, and it is a verbatim drama about the shooting that took place in 2012 in a cinema in Colorado. It is incredibly moving and a real turn for what we were just talking about, wet Edinburgh. It's a very emotional kind of show, but it really is the survivor's story of what happened, because it's so easy to just do, go in and go, oh, let's think about the murderer and oh my gosh, all this da-da-da. But actually there are real people who were very much left behind after this happened, and it's their story, and yeah.
I remember this happening. I don't want to make this about me, please, but I remember this happening because I was on air at the time and I was reporting on it. It was just before The Dark Knight Rises, and I refused to say the name of the individual who did it, and I still refuse to say that individual's name. But what made you want to tell this story? Because I don't mean this to sound insensitive, but there's been a couple of mass shootings. Why this particular story?
That's a really good question. I, like you, also remembered it. I was in the cinema the day after it happened, in Huddersfield, and I think I sat there and I went, I can't believe that a space I think is safe was made unsafe. And I think that almost rape of a space felt so unjust that happened, especially in a really popular kind of film as well. And also, I think from a British journalistic perspective as well, I think there's a lot that we tend not to understand about America and the gun culture as well, and the fact that, as you said, there has been so many more since. How and why, and it's a really interesting obsession I think British people have with American culture. So it's kind of tapping into that. We've gotten in touch with a charity called Survivors Empowered, which was set up by Jessica Garway's parents when she was murdered in the shooting, and it's very much providing therapy, and it's supporting the survivors. As you said, it's not talking about the individual, but reframing what happened and trying to put it into an interesting international context.
When you come to cast something like that, how do you begin to take up that kind of role of I assume you play a survivor. How do you begin to take that and make it into something?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think so. First of all, it's a verbatim piece, but the characters are sort of like an amalgamation of the experiences of a number of individuals. So it's not one actor playing one specific person. It's sort of the personification of this type. So I play a character named Mary, and Mary is sort of the, like I said, amalgamation of parents who lost children during the shooting. And I think that there's you have to be very kind of conscientious and considered when approaching a role like this, because on one hand you have to understand that you're holding material that is greater than yourself, greater than your ego, greater than, all of the usual things that actors sort of go through in their own process. So you're really serving something. And at the same time, you also have to understand that, Kate has written a piece. It is not play-by-play. It is not reality. It is about representing a larger conversation around an event. And so giving myself license to be able to step in, do the job, serve the characters, and then be able also to step out and know that it is a job. Yeah.
What's been the reaction to the play?
Really interesting so far. We've done 2 previews runs. So we've done one in London at the King's Head, and then we're up in Durham at the Durham Fringe Festival as well. And I think so far everyone's kind of come out of it and have been really moved, I think, by the story and by the kind of wonderful banality of life, because I think it really touches on that, you know, taking every day as it comes and trying not to take anything for granted. And quite a lot of people have come out and really spoken about that, and about, from except because a lot of our audience have been obviously British, it's that difference of perspective and going, I'm trying to tap into the larger conversation which is kind of tied around it.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy conversation, even in the United States. I mean, we look at it and we're like, okay, we can make certain assumptions about what should and shouldn't happen, but even within the United States, it's a difficult, really difficult issue that people debate every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've tried to make it, it's so easy, especially with social media nowadays, that we polarize everything. It is one person is saying something and they are wrong, and the other person cannot, you can't see eye to eye. Whereas I think if you create these very rich characters, and then when someone says something you disagree with, it's so much more real. And if they're doing it in the same space, you're bringing the conversation closer together to try and find a more harmonious solution. Because I think everyone knows there is a problem, but it's what that solution looks like, and getting everyone on the same page. It's an interesting kind of, it puts things better into perspective, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that there's especially performing this piece to a British audience, I think it really confronts the fact that there's a lot of sensationalism around U.S. politics, and like a lot of sensationalism around gun control. And I think the reality that we are trying to bring forward is that for millions of Americans, it is a far more nuanced conversation, and that it is harder to have, but it is important to lean into that rather than look at a stereotype, assume some things, condemn the person for what you assume they are, and then move on, because that sort of doesn't do any sort of respect or justice to the fact that it is a really kind of deep, embedded conversation about identity, about American identity.
How are you enjoying being back up at the Fringe?
It's wonderful, honestly. It is. I mean, it's different. I think everyone will attest to that. It feels very different this year, but just walking down the streets and just feeling the presence of like live things, and online, of course, as well this year, it is just truly incredible to be back here again. And it's our first, it's our debut show as a company as well. So some of us have been to the Fringe before, some of us haven't. I don't think you have you?
No, this is I'm popping my Fringe cherry. It's like, it's great. It's really nice to be here. I'm really looking forward to seeing just a lot of other shows.
Yeah.
I really missed that over the last year and a half, really have.
What's it like to go and see other shows when you're in a show? Do you ever sit and be like, well, that's not how I do it a different way? Can you, what's the search involved? Can you watch a show?
Yeah, I think you can. I think it's nice to like switch off your own brain sometimes and just enjoy. But I do find myself at the Fringe sometimes watching shows that I would never normally go and watch and like if a show's almost too similar to mine, or it's like really dark verbatim stuff, like I'd love to watch that whenever, whereas I'm at the Edinburgh Fringe, like I want to go see some circus, I want to go see some comedy, I want to go see some like crazy clowning stuff. Like I think it's an amazing opportunity to step out of your theatre comfort zone, and if you do that, you then really won't find yourself going, I would have done it this way, because instead you're going, how the are they doing that?
Yeah,
that is amazing.
Yeah.
And how are you enjoying it for the first time up here?
It's great. We climbed Arthur's Seat yesterday, so that's fun.
I've lived in Scotland my whole life. I was born and bred here. I've been to Edinburgh a couple of times. Never done it. So
It's really steep. Okay. Everyone is like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go up, no problem. And I'm now like sweating and my face is red. And it was, it's not easy.
No, it is not. It is not. We came back, had breakfast, and then I think we all napped afterwards. But aside from that, I'm loving being in Edinburgh. It's my first time also in this city. So I just, I think it's a beautiful city. I'm really excited to be here and sort of get amongst it.
Yeah. Where can people find out more about you and about the show?
Well, they can find it on the Ed Fringe website, the Pleasance website. We are at the EICC. We're at 8:40 this week. Oh my gosh, we open tomorrow, which is Tuesday the 10th.
Sweaty armpits.
And you can find us on all social media, #Screen9 or @Theatre Piccolo.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you.